You name it, we've lived it.
And are living it.
Brits moving from the UK all the way to Australia with not a pot to piss in.
A whirlwind romance sparkled on Tinder.
3 months in, pregnant, starting 2 now successful businesses through COVID.
To another 2 new businesses post-COVID, whilst juggling 2 young, spirited children.
Living worldwide, travelling and pure hustle. We are nothing short of batshit crazy, but motivated as fuck. We are here to tell you our story,
Inspire,
teach,
and probably scare the crap out of you.
uncut, raw and real. Welcome to Business, Babies and Banter
with Henry
and Jade. Welcome to Business, Babies and Banter. I'm Jade.
And I'm Henry.
And God, I mean, there's always so much to talk about, isn't there?
Well, welcome back to the podcast. We haven't done one for a long time.
We haven't done one for a long time. That's so right. And I've dragged Henry into a studio, and in Bali. And obviously, you know, I think we should talk about the unmedicated natural birth to begin with, because I'm sure that there are many women that will be super inspired, the VBAC after 2 C-sections. And there's many men that, as you say, he's like traumatized.
It's worse for me than it was for you. I'm joking, it wasn't. No, there's been no podcast. We've obviously had a baby.
The feminists are going to be an absolute outroar though. They'll be like, I'm fucking unsubscribing from this because of that arrogant pig Henry. Don't unsubscribe. He doesn't mean it. No. Obviously, yeah, the last time that we podcast was we had I was pregnant and we were in Bali and there were so many moving parts, and honestly, between gaining a new business and the birth of a child, newborn phase, which if you're parents, if you know, you know. And I can confirm the 3rd child is like the final nail in the coffin. And I feel like if you have a 4th, the coffin's already sealed. It doesn't matter. But the 3rd...
It's like driving with a flat tyre and you can't change it. It's just hell.
No, don't say that, mate. They won't watch this podcast one day and be like, fuck off.
No, they're brilliant. It's brilliant 5% of the time.
Look, they're incredible, and look, honestly, we love them to death. I mean, everything that we do ultimately is for our kids, right? The success that we want to build, the way that we run our businesses, how we work, why we work, and the lifestyle that we want to provide them, and the lifestyle we live is for their benefit, right?
Yeah.
Because we could live in Australia, and arguably some elements of the business might be easier, but ultimately some would absolutely decimate into the ground because I wouldn't be able to be part of them as much. I wouldn't be as available. I'd be more at home. I'd be unhappy. You'd be pissed off, and you know what I mean? So we're here for everyone's benefit, and predominantly the family and my mental health. But we opted to come here, and I wanted to have that unmedicated natural birth, and they didn't want to do it after 2 C-sections in Australia. And Henry was like, "You sure? Do another Caesar."
Yeah, for me, you know the outcome, you know what you're expecting. You know, with the natural birth, it was, who knows what was going to throw at you. And then they had to test you to make sure it was safe. And I'm like, well, why are you fucking letting her do it if you got to test it if it's safe, if it's a risk?
To be fair, though, the outcome was nothing to do with my C-section.
True.
Mm-hmm. So it could have happened regardless.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, it's 100% true. So there was actually no variables in that moment based on the previous surgeries. So everything that they'd said in Australia about, seriously, that wasn't a risk at all. It's just a variable outcome and what happened. And look, we won't go into it too much, but it is quite...
we won't get graphic.
It is quite a story because, you know, obviously I was waiting so long. You know, it was like 41 weeks almost, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I could barely walk.
And every day, I was like, I'm sure pregnant women do this, and men all know when they've had one, they're like, babe, I think this is it. And we had, I think this is it conversation 5 times, 10 times,
maybe more. I don't know. And it was almost getting hopeful in the thing. You know, I'd be like, this is it.
And you were desperate because you wanted to have birth naturally. You didn't want to have a C-section.
Yeah, and if it had gone too long, then the baby might have been too big. But I'd literally have fucking wind, and I'd be like, I think I'm at. Oh no, it's the fuck.
Yeah. And then when it eventually did happen, you were like so excited. You had a bath and put your music on.
Yeah, so that I felt pretty sick. I felt really unwell. I was like, I don't feel good. My lower back was hurting. And by this point, I'd almost given up because there'd been so many false alarms. And I was like, well, whatever. And then I had this dream, another dream. Oh my God, I had a dream. I really did. My doula. So we hired an incredible doula called Alison. And she was in my dream. And there was a piece of like, what's it called? Play-Doh? Like Play-Doh. It's Play-Doh. She was rubbing. She had this ball in her hand. She was like, now, if you want to feel what contractions are like in the dream, we had a meeting and she said, this is a ball and you just have to press it and you'll feel what a contraction is like. And I said to her in the dream, I don't know if I want to know before I actually go through it because I don't want to be put off. And she was like, okay, well, it's up to you. But if you do decide you want to do it, just pop it in your hand and press. And she pressed it. And then I woke up and I was having contractions. And it was the weirdest thing. And then I was like questioning what the fuck was going on. It wasn't severe, obviously, because it was early labor. I went into the bathroom, went for a wee, and I was like, oh, this is a bit crampy and hurting. Tried to go back to bed. And then it continued and progressed. And yeah, it was wild. And then I realized, oh my God, this is it. Okay. Super excited, calm, embracing the thing. I'd done loads of mindset stuff, reading books and ran a bath. And I was thinking, I won't wake up Henry. It's about 1 a.m. So won't wake up Henry now. Don't want to panic him. Let him have as much sleep as possible. I'm not going to be ready to go to hospital for ages. This could be a 12-hour process, right? I'm just going to run a bath. I'm going to relax. And I was breathing through the contractions. And I think I went for about an hour and a half on my own. And then it got quite intense. And I thought, I'm going to wake up Henry. So I go into the bedroom and it's pitch black. And I'm like, Hen, this is it. And he's like, oh. I was like, I'm in labor. We're going to have the baby. And he goes, what do we do? And I was like, well, we need to get up and
I was far more graceful than that.
Fucking weren't. You were like, whoa. And I said, look, I think I want you to make me some food before and this and that. And then he was watching me and you said,
I said, I think you should go now.
Yeah. Because it was getting quite intense and I was like, nah, it's going to be ages. It's only been a couple of hours.
So we told my mum.
Yeah.
And then we
hopped on.
We put Jade on the back of the motorbike.
Hopped on a moped with no helmets on, just scooting down to Bumi Sehat, which is an incredible Indonesian Ibu Robin, who was my midwife, is basically like the Mother Teresa of Indonesia. She provides safe spaces for Indonesian people and overseas people because it's so renowned to a safe place to birth, basically, with no intervention. And of course, they have ambulances and things just in case. So there was a whole process of me seeing a surgeon, checking it all out. He worked in collaboration with her. If there was an emergency, he was on standby to make sure that I would get the care that I needed in the event of something going wrong in terms of having had 2 previous C-sections. So off on the bike we hop, like, Romeo and Juliet whistling in the wind and I'm having contractions on the back of the bike. And yeah, by the time I get there, things got hot pretty quick, didn't they?
Yeah. The good news was all of the midwives on duty that night couldn't speak English. So Jade gets in there and they're looking at her and checking her out. They're like, yeah, she's fine. And then, Alison comes and then eventually it turns out that Jade's not okay. It's progressing pretty quick.
Well, no, it wasn't that I wasn't okay. It's just that they check how many centimeters you are, which they did ask my permission because I know that some people don't like to do this. And I was like, no, I want to know. And they're like 1 centimeter. And I'd done all my research. Obviously, I'm like 1 centimeter. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I know I can do this. This was my motivating factor. I was like, if I'm going to be a mindset coach, I need to be able to overcome this. And I know I can. I know I can do it. It's the most natural thing in the whole world. People have been doing it for millions of years. Why wouldn't I be able to do it? So I cross-checked everything in terms of safety, but I had to do it. In my being, I was like, I have to do this. And so when they said it's 1 centimeter, I was like, maybe I can't fucking do this. It's like, it is like your bones being pulled apart. However, I will say for anyone that's pregnant or hasn't had a baby, you need to birth how you want to do and you need to get the relevant information. But I would give birth again because I would love to have the experience again. However, we'll talk more about how it ended, but we're not having any more children. For anyone that's concerned for our well-being, 3 is the cap for 4 businesses, 3 children. There's no space for any more. But I categorically would give birth again because so I want to say it is an incredibly intense, unfathomable pain and experience. However, the pain has purpose. And I also did birth a 4.1 kilo baby, over 9 pounds. and he was in a rush. So the contractions, which normally are a bit slower and there is a peak, I peaked so quickly, and the entire thing took just 4 hours from the very first contraction to.
We're only in hospital for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hospital for an hour.
And he
then
shot out.
Yeah. Basically, I caught Jude in one hand and half of Jade's vagina in the other hand.
Just to confirm, no vaginas were damaged or harmed in the making of this baby. It's all good, guys. It's all good. But
no, but it was an explosion. Because
it was
are you
an
going to go into
explosion
graphics
of
to explain
blood.
why?
I did get 4th degree tears, pretty much, which is one of the most severe kinds. And unfortunately, like, we deep dived into it, right? There wasn't. She flew out. My waters didn't break. He had his hand on his head. He had a massive head. There was kind of, I couldn't have slowed down. Like, the contractions were so hard and fast. And because he was the 3rd baby, he was sat really low down, but I'd never given birth naturally. So because of that, he was so low that the pressure and the actually opening of my cervix was just super quick. And then he literally flew out. And so it was super unfortunate. And, the fact that I would give birth again, I think, is a credit to the fact that you shouldn't be scared of these things. It was a really unfortunate happening. And I literally didn't walk for a month. It was horrendous. Like, you've never seen me in that much pain, have you? Like, post-recovery.
And do you know what was really funny? Well, it wasn't funny for you, it was funny for me. Because Jade decided to give birth in the jungle where there was no drugs, no medication. She's lying on the bed and she's like in absolute agony. She's like, I'm in so much pain. They went, here you are, madam, take these. She went, what are they? They went, paracetamol, 500 milligrams.
I thought they'd given me the big guns. I was like, oh, here we go. And what I didn't realise was when I signed up for a natural birth, I was also signing up for a natural recovery. And the natural recovery, I wasn't too fussed about, to be fair. I didn't even know I'd need to recover. But yeah, and there was times where I was like, I'm really constipated and I'm really struggling. And it was honestly earthquaking. I can't explain the sheer, the time, day after day after day, it didn't get better. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand up. I obviously couldn't go to the toilet very well. And the usual procedure for something like this would be an epidural, a catheter. So you don't have to get up and pee, you're drugged up to the max. And I had nothing. And I was like really constipated. And they were like, dragon fruit. I was like, anything else? And they were like, papaya. I was like,
no, what was the tea? They were so worried about you. They bought dandelion tea round to the house instead of like drugs.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, just anything. And they were like, got the thing for you. They brought around dandelion tea. I was like,
we can laugh about it now.
We can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But
nonetheless, Jude was healthy.
Very unfortunate. Jude was healthy, but yeah, we got through the birth, and he is the most. I call him my little pork dumpling. He is a dumpling. Yeah, he is the most delicious, handsome, chubby, but fuck, he's a moody little fucker, isn't he?
Oh, that's your side of the.
That is not true. It's the Gemini in him. He makes this noise. When he gets angry, he basically goes to your face and goes, and tries to attack you. Yeah. And I'm like, he's 8 months old now, just turned. Yeah. And I'm like, is this normal?
He's telling you to go away.
He tells you to go away. And sometimes the beautiful nanny who takes an exceptional care of him, and he does love her, they have a great bond. But, I'll be holding him and she'll come close to take him off me. And he looks at her and he goes, it's basically
he's
saying,
like, fuck off, don't just leave me alone. But yeah, no. So
but that's
we obviously gave birth.
What we've done.
We gave birth, and then we had to go back to Australia pretty quickly, didn't we? And we had to take him, and we tried to take the nanny with us.
Oh yeah, God, there was a whole drama.
So we've obviously got 3 kids, and we
also I got left in the country on my own.
I thought you did too.
The bullshit is relentless that we actually live through, and I feel like if we don't talk about it, people don't appreciate how fucking thick-skinned we have to be to survive in this environment.
We had an award ceremony to go to for the salon, which
it wasn't the award. This was in August, babe. We went back to touch base with the team.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay.
2 visits.
I'm going to tell the story because Henry has no idea what he's talking about. So we're like all excited. We're like going to touch base with the team. Obviously, we left in March because you can't fly past 30 weeks pregnant. So it's all good. Got the passport, bish bash bosh, and booked the flights. No worries. But then there was a whole fucking process as well getting that Australian passport to Bali because also Jude has my surname because Henry didn't put a ring on it. So fathers cannot be recognised in Indonesia if you're not married because you're not technically supposed to get jiggy with it if you're not married. And yeah, so he's Jude Oscar Crosland.
It is.
But anyway, a whole process. And then I get this message saying, yeah, you got the passport, but you haven't got the birth. What was it? The fucking registration or some stupid thing that you have to get within a certain amount of days. And if you don't get it, you can't leave the country. So the day before we're about to fly, bags are packed. First time back to Melbourne. Team are all super excited to see us. I can't leave, and neither can Jude. I could have left Jude here, but that would have been a bit mean, wouldn't it? And I was breastfeeding. But yeah, so Henry goes off with the kids on his own. Total nightmare. I managed to make it, what,
Both
2
of
days
them
later?
pissed themselves on the flight. It's a nighttime flight, Bali to Melbourne.
The red eye. Is it called the red eye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pissed themselves and I had to handle it. It's great.
It was a nightmare. But you still managed to have a few drinks and invite a friend round on the second night that you were there.
Lotion to dull the pain.
You need to unlock your iPhone first.
That's Henry playing with his phone, which I told him to put down, just so you know. And that is a sign that you need to put your phone away.
This way.
Carry
on. Tell the story. Come on.
Anyway, yeah, so that was a fucking nightmare. Managed to get to Melbourne. Got to Melbourne, realised that I don't know why I came for 2 weeks, because it's not enough. It's not worthy enough for 2 weeks of the sheer stress of shipping. And obviously I had to fly with Jude alone, breastfeeding, had to get the lady next to me to hold him while I got the bag down. Like, it was just so many things. And then I could barely see the team anyway, because I had a newborn baby and the kids didn't have school. It was just, just a nightmare, but we did it. And then the next time we came back was for a very special award, which is the Mocha AHIAs. We were finalists for Best Customer Care for Privé Hair Organics and Vic Salon of the Year and Business Owner of the Year. And we were finalists for Owe and Suffolk.
We were, yeah.
So we basically had a wipe out in terms of like what we were announced as finalists for. Every single category across 2 different businesses and myself as a business owner, we got into the finalists for, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So we went back for that, and we won Vic Salon of the Year.
We did.
Which was, honestly, it was amazing. And by the time that was announced, because that's the last one that's announced, we were shitting it because we didn't win any of the others. But an amazing, amazing experience, an amazing result. And honestly, the players are so big in Victoria, aren't they? Like
the level of salons in Victoria is massive. Look, I think Queensland's got a high standard too. There's a couple of good ones in Sydney, but the volume of top salons in Melbourne,
huge.
It's huge.
The competition was massive, basically. You know, there's some states that are arguably easier purely because there's less competition.
Less salons, less people.
Yeah, less salons, less people. And Victoria, the other finalists were all incredible, right? And kudos to them still to this day. Like, it's such an astounding one to win. We fucking did it. It was incredible.
But then we were pissed off because we didn't win Australian Salon of the Year. But that's going to be next year's.
We weren't pissed off, but we're go-getters, right? And I don't know if anyone saw in our when we won Salon Business Newcomer of the Year 2024, and I was pregnant 9 weeks. Lol. Henry was like, in the video, he was like, next year we got to do this. We're going to earmark these people. And we're going to see what they're doing. He's very competitive. But look, it's a massive thing to achieve, and I think, kudos to everyone that enters. But we are going to be gunning for Australian Salon of the Year next year, because I think that we are in a very, very high caliber of everything that we do, from education, staff, client experience, revenue growth, renovations, adaptability, privé wellness, mindset, Christmas works parties. We took our
But do you know what though? This is why I think people call us chaotic, because there's always something going on.
Yeah.
There's never a week where it's like just cruising like normal. There's always a fucking new thing. The team are they don't know what they're going to get sometimes. You're like a chocolate frog, right? You jumping around all the time and
with positive sparkles flowing behind me.
Of course. But last week there's always something going on in the salon. There's always a renovation. There's always a new thing. There's always an event. There's always partnership.
That's why we're the fucking best.
That's what I'm saying. But that's why people call it chaotic.
But
I'm not saying it as a negative.
Something important to note as well is so a dream of mine, and Henry's going to cringe because he's like, fucking cost a fucking fortune that. But that's why he's the CFO. I said to our team, historically with Privé Hair and Makeup, Privé Hair Organics, wrong business, I always said, the more you do, the more we'll give. And I'm a big believer in that. And I honestly want them all to succeed. I want them to make money. I want to pay them the best, and I want to provide them with the best workspace with all my heart. And I said, 1 year, if you keep going how you're going, maybe we'll go on a yacht in the Whitsundays. And everyone was like, yeah, that'd be sick. But I'm a woman of my word, and I meant it. I wasn't saying it as a, empty promise, or I wasn't promising it because I wasn't sure what the outcome would be, right? Year to year is so varied and you can come up with many obstacles, but I had it in my head. And we looked at the revenue, the profits, the accessibility, and how we'd grown and what was able to do. And I was like, we're going to fucking do it. And we did. We took our team on a luxury yacht around the Whitsundays, November. So we won Vic Salon of the Year. We stayed in Melbourne. That was in Brisbane. Then we came back to Melbourne, and then we went back to Airlie Beach and with all our 3 kids in tow, and flew a babysitter with us to help. And took the guys on a
20 of our salon employees.
20 of our salon employees and our Privé hair and makeup and our marketing back end team. So there was 20 in total, yeah. And it was honestly just such an achievement to be like, to have the freedom and accessibility to do that for your team. It's something that I've always dreamed of. Being on a yacht with people hosting, it was like my thing, wasn't it? It was in my head. And one of the girls said, Beth was like, what are you going to do next year? How are you going to top this? And I was like, don't you worry, Beth. I'm creative and I've got a big imagination. I'll find the way. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible. And the vibes were amazing, wasn't it? Like just the whole trip, having everyone at dinners, the breakfast, the laughs when we were all on the bus. Tell them about the bus.
So we had a bit of a drinking. Was it our final night, or was it the night before the final night? Night before the final night.
It was the first night, wasn't it? When we weren't supposed to be going out, and Pete and Beth and Di got leathered, and then the yacht was the next day.
Yeah, so we went out for this dinner. We organised like a dinner and drinks, and it was on us. It was like our first night to. And we went to this really nice place on the marina. It was very fancy. People were in there keeping their date nights, and then our rowdy bunch turned up.
We actually asked
fucking
if they could turn
vaping in
up
the
and
restaurant. Like causing an absolute ruckus, and everyone's shouting and laughing and having a great time.
Having the best time.
Came to tell us to tone it down. Anyway, we were about to leave. Some people were getting a taxi, the minivan back to the resort, and the others were going to go into the town and carry on. So anyway, they started to walk because they couldn't get a taxi. Anyway, our minibus came, and as it was driving up the hill, we saw the wall.
No. So it had music, right?
Oh, that's right. It was a disco one.
So it was like, and we were like, bro, can we choose some music? And he was like, yeah, sure, no worries. So there's like, we were all going back to the resort, just so you know. I was being sensible. I had to keep my business owner hat on to some degree, although there was a video exposed of me pouring water and ice all over myself dancing on the yacht, which Henry was like, okay. But on this occasion, I was like, no, got to save myself for the yacht. So we were in this party minibus
with the lights on,
with the lights on and music. And we drove past the guys that were going out, but there was about 8 of them, right?
No, but there was more. I think there was 20 people in this minibus.
Long story short, they were like, what's
7.
going on? They were super devastated. So we asked the bus to stop, and Henry goes, bro, I'll give you $100 if you just let everyone come in. And he's like, it's totally illegal, but okay. So Henry gives me the money, and we've got all the team sat bundled in this minibus. The music's on. The lights
it was a maxi taxi.
It was like a maxi taxi.
It was a maxi taxi converted into like a party bus.
Banging the ceiling. It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
Our team are awesome though. Like they are. They're really fun. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
And like we had Jordan and Nils in little pants and fans, and yeah, it was just honestly epic. But you know, being able to do that for the team, winning Vic Salon of the Year, it's just been such a whirlwind since we actually last podcast, and what we've achieved and what we've done and where we've been. And then, of course, we, fast forward, come back to Bali, hustled our asses off. We literally work nonstop here because we have the support and accessibility to do so. But we also have the incredible, one-on-one time with our kids because Australia is 3 hours ahead. We have the support so we can work dedicated longer and we can have better dedicated time with our kids. But then in December, we took the children and I fulfilled a childhood dream of going to Lapland. And we took them to Lapland, to Santa Claus Village. And I had been, honestly, I was telling you about this the other day. I'd been manifesting this for ages. I had been envisaging going to a Christmassy place with reindeer and snow. And the dream that everyone has in their head when you have Christmas, which I've never done before. I was thinking about that when I was pregnant and going to St. Haven Gym. And we did it. We did it for 5 days,
5 days.
something like
Yeah.
that. And then we went back to England for the remainder of December. And it was honestly such a dream come true, don't you think?
It was a good trip. It was a good trip. And you know what? When you think about how it's going to feel being in a place like that where it's so magical and it snows every day and there's huskies and the reindeers and the like, the wood fires and the hot chocolates and stuff, it was a lot.
It was
It was
amazing.
a lot more magical than what I anticipated it to
And
be.
the
It was
kids.
great.
So we went in to see Santa, and Hugo was so mortified because there was some severely bad behavior. And when I say that, he doesn't beat people up or anything, but he's just a go-getter. He's headstrong, which is going to make for a fantastic adult, challenging 6-year-old. However, we've been saying to him, got to be careful, mate. We're going to be seeing Santa. He knows what's happening. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. And we've been doing this.
So we get in there and Santa goes, "You've got to start being a better boy with your sister."
No, he wouldn't even go in. He wouldn't go in the room. So the elves opened there was like a wooden hut in the middle of the forest, snowing. It's like pure magic. And they opened the thing and Harper's like, "Hi, Santa." And Harper walks on in and Hugo stood at the door like this. And I went, "What's wrong?" He was like, "I'm worried I might be on the naughty."
We'd mortified him, hadn't we? We'd scared him.
Fucking shitting himself. And it was so sweet. And I was like, "Oh, baby, it's fine." Like, he knows what's been happening. So the process for going to see Santa, because you pay an astronomical amount, by the way, for the 2 kids is, you send them a little bio about the kids, their names, what they like, what they need to improve on. And so Santa's like, "So Hugo, I hear you're very good at this, but you need to be a little bit kinder to your sister sometimes. You're sometimes chasing her and making her scream." And Hugo's like, "Sometimes, yeah." It was. And Harper's like,
He couldn't make eye
and he's
contact
like,
with him.
and he's like, "A new young lady, is it true that you'd like a unicorn toy?" She's like, "Yeah, a unicorn toy. Yeah, that's on my list." It was so cute, wasn't it? It was amazing.
So then Santa gave them the toy, and it was like this generic little husky dog, and they both were like, "Where's my unicorn? Where's my bow and arrow?"
Yeah. And we
I
were
asked for a bow and arrow.
No. You just get the signature husky toy, which is what everyone gets, and then the rest you get on Christmas Day. So then Christmas Day, I'm like, "Henry, we got to make sure we get that."
But I tell you what,
sexy on Mum's
the highlight of my trip, right? So Jude's just started to eat solids. So he's been breastfeeding. He has a bit of milk, but he's starting to eat solids. And finding adequate food in the North Pole is extremely challenging. The food was the most horrendous food we've ever eaten anywhere we've ever
Just
been.
fried, overpriced
And
shit.
anyway, so we found a cafe that did mashed potato with one of like their chicken meals and salads, and we were like, "Fucking perfect. We'll just feed Jude mashed potato, 3 meals a day for." Whilst we're here. Anyway,
Basically. No, we tried sachets, but
Yeah,
he doesn't like sachets.
he won't eat the sachets,
He
right?
only has fresh food.
He only wants fresh food. So anyway, we got this mashed potato, and it was $14 for a side of mashed potato. 14 euros, which is $26, $28
horrendous,
for a side of mash.
It was wild.
Fucking crazy place.
And we did give him some fruit and stuff, but God, it's a bloody nightmare. And just so you guys know, in classic Henry and Jade style, Lapland Santa Claus Village was booked out for the whole of December. So I didn't have a preference on when we went, but I looked at it and I was like, "Look, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. The kids are young. We might not get another year of Hugo being a believer. We might not. So we got to do it when they're all believers." And it's an amazing experience for the whole family. So it was only the first week of December. We weren't landing in England until
2nd of December.
the 2nd. And so I was like, just have to go straight there. So we did Bali to Doha to London Heathrow. We got a car from London Heathrow to London Gatwick, because that was the only place that flew to Lapland. Waited there for a couple of hours and then flew to Lapland. And by the time we were on this last flight, I mean, thank God they were super cool, weren't they? They had like Christmas music, and he was like, "Hello, this is your captain speaking. If you look to the right-hand side, you may see Santa flying past with the reindeer." Has everyone written their list for Santa? And they had Christmas music on,
all
and
dressed in outfits, and gave out Christmas things,
doing Christmas drawings and stuff. And then when we landed, it was actually snowing. It was so magical.
That was to this day the most chaotic flight I've ever been on.
Yeah,
because there was kids just
everywhere.
running up and down the aisle constantly.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then obviously we left. Did a month in England, which was incredible. Haven't had a Christmas home for 13 years. So, Henry's mum's pretty fucking on it with the food. And your sister.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good seeing family. Super wholesome and special. 11-hour time difference for work. Won't be doing it again anytime soon, because we basically woke up at 3 to 4 in the morning every morning and we're still behind. Which was
was enjoyable.
Quite stressful. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. And then we flew back. we flew back to Bali for a good 48 hours. Before flying back to Melbourne.
Because we were like, I know, we can spend the whole of January in Melbourne because it's going to be rainy season in Bali. We're going to get loads done. We'll touch base with the team. Fucking astronomically stressful. Spent
No nanny.
thousands of dollars on babysitters and it wasn't even every day. No one to hold Jude. Hugo split his head open. I had a cyst that had to be removed in hospital and get put to sleep. Super stressful. Being pulled pillar to post, day to day, gets 3 o'clock. I'm like, I've done fuck all. All I've done is speak to people and, basically a load of fluff, and my actual list hasn't been touched because we're so used to dominating a list in Bali.
Yeah.
And it was, but to be fair, it was incredible weather, right? It was incredible weather.
It was a great
We
holiday.
stayed in the most beautiful places.
We had a team barbecue.
Team barbecue. It was I love going to see the team, and I wish I had all the time in the world to just hang out at the salon and talk to clients and schmooze the clients and have a laugh out the back. But I literally don't have that time. I mean, I would have loved to get my hair done. Everyone's like, "Why don't you get your hair coloured?" I'm like, "I don't fucking time for to get my hair. What are you talking about?" So yeah, that was a whirlwind. And it was a long month, and then we're back here, and sometimes it's Feb now, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm still in January mentally. It's going to be March in 5 minutes.
So we've got 3 months of head down, 3 months head down in Bali before.
Yeah.
Before we're going to live in Spain for 8 weeks.
No.
6 weeks.
Henry has no idea what goes on, by the way. Just so you know, he tries to get Formula One tickets because he never normally organises anything. And he tried to get Formula One tickets and got scammed because I'm always the one that buys tickets and organises everything. And so the one time he went solo and tried to do it himself, he got fucking scammed, didn't he? Did you get that money back? Or?
I will do.
Anyway, look, one of our other dreams as a family and a couple, which was to spend some time in Europe. And to be honest, we could never afford it. And then when we were able to spend a bit more time, we just had to do it on the cheap, and it's not quite as nice. And it is really expensive to stay in Europe. And when I say Europe, I don't mean England. And we would end up staying in England. I think we did 4 weeks once. We did 4 weeks in England. Henry's like, never fucking doing that again.
4 days is long enough.
That's not true, but yeah. So look, we're in a really fortunate position where, because we can run the businesses remotely and the time difference is significantly better, because that was a big sticking point. It was 11 hours in the winter. In the summer, it's only 9. Makes the world of difference. We will be staying in Spain for 4 weeks. We're then going to be going to Italy. So staying in Marbella. Sorry. Then we're going to Italy, which is going to be our work trip, going to Bologna and then Milan. We're then going to do a little family holiday in Tuscany, which Henry is enthralled by, but there is going to be a kids club.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to try and be hands off and try and bring our nanny from Bali to there. And then we're going to finish up with some time in the UK, because it is such an investment in time, energy, and just aging, basically, taking 3 children all the way to Europe. So we were like, if we're going to do it, we're going to fulfill this dream. And this is the right time to do it. And you know what? We won't be able to do it all the time because of school, learning, commitments. There's all these things. So we're going to do it.
Is our house here completely taken, or is there any space for someone to be in it while we're away?
There's a little bit of availability.
Oh, there we are.
So yeah, if you need somewhere, no, joking. But no, we're really, I don't know, we've just done so much, haven't we? It's been so crazy since we last podcast. And I think even just being in the studio is pretty fucking significant compared to being on a laptop with shit quality and trying to do it ourselves. We've got the guy just behind the screen here that's doing everything for us. He's going to send us the thing, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
So we're going to get a couple more. We're going to do what we're doing once a week.
I've booked the studio once a week, every week, mate. To Henry's delight.
We're going to run out of fucking things to talk about.
Mate, we will never run out of things to talk
you
about.
Won't. It will be just the Jade fucking chatting to herself. It'll be the Jade and the Jade show. It'll be a good one though.
No, there's always things to talk about. But look, we're paving the way, living the dream more than ever before. And I feel like for the first time probably in our professional and personal lives, we haven't really got our back against the wall massively. In some ways, yes.
Well, there's some things that we can talk about on other podcasts, which we'll probably say otherwise. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that develops.
And there's so many layers to everything. But I hope you enjoyed our life update and insight into everything that we do, because honestly, it's fucking wild. And Another
And the
kid.
next one is going to talk about the new business, the new thing that we're doing, what
Yeah.
we've been doing since Jude was born.
Yeah. Well, just before he was born,
Just
we
before he was
started
born.
those
So it's been
conversations.
now 8 months since we've started the company.
Yeah.
So 8 months, new business, very exciting, completely different, new industry, lots of learnings, and that's the next podcast after this.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And of course, we will be trying to source a studio in Spain, Italy, and maybe even the UK.
Well, I think
so Henry's
we've actually
like,
got a nice garden in the house in Spain. I'm actually
You
excited about
said
that.
you don't want to do it non-professionally because you like the quality
Yeah,
of
but
shit.
if we get look at the setup that he's got here. This is fucking mint. Why don't we'll hire some equipment, do it ourselves.
Lord have mercy. Stay tuned for next time, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
And hopefully laughing. Be sure to leave us a review, and if you're into the madness,
Check out the links below to follow our day-to-day journey.
Stay tuned for the next episode.